How's it going, everyone? Austin Honecker here. I just wanted to come on here for a while and give my review for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite's special event Winter is Coming from 3 nights ago, which was December 14th, 2022. I gotta say, it was awesome from start to finish. For the matches, match 1, it was the Death Triangle, which are Pac, Rey Fenix, and Penta El Cero Miedo, versus the Elite, which are Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson, in match 4 of the Best of 7 series for the AEW Trios titles. That was a great match, but the ending to it, the Death Triangle went over because Rey Fenix made Nick Jackson tap out to the knee bar. Now, after the match, as the Death Triangle, which are Pac, Rey Fenix, Penta El Cero Miedo, and Alex Abrahantes, were celebrating their victory, the Elite, which are Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, Brandon Cutler, and MT Nakazawa, and Don Callis were in the ring and everything. After the Death Triangle left the ring and everything, Kenny Omega got on the microphone and talked about how he was tired of the Death Triangle cheating to win, using the hammer and everything, and Kenny Omega issued a stipulation for match 6 of the Best of 7 series, and that being a no disqualification match and everything. And the Death Triangle accepted it and everything. That was cool. That was after the match, by the way. Match 2, it was Jungle Boy versus Brian Cage. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Jungle Boy went over with a roll-up. Now, after the match, Jungle Boy got on the microphone and cut a promo talking about how he beat Luchasaurus at Full Gear and how he beat Brian Cage tonight at Winter is Coming and everything, and talked about how he wanted to fight W. Morrissey and everything, and Stokely Hathaway came out and talked about how Jungle Boy was a bitch ass and everything, and talked about how Big Bill W. Morrissey was going to beat Jungle Boy's ass and everything, and Stokely Hathaway kept talking more shit towards Jungle Boy and everything, and so Lee Moriarty and W. Morrissey came out, and before they came out, Jungle Boy was getting ready to attack Stokely Hathaway, but W. Morrissey and Lee Moriarty came out, and Jungle Boy and Lee Moriarty were beating the shit out of each other, and with Jungle Boy getting the upper hand, but then W. Morrissey came out and attacked Jungle Boy from behind and beat the shit out of him, and so W. Morrissey and Lee Moriarty ganged up on Jungle Boy, and Stokely Hathaway kept talking more shit while it was going on, so the Firm, which are Stokely Hathaway, W. Morrissey, and Lee Moriarty, got in the ring, but they threw Jungle Boy in the ring, and then W. Morrissey executed the choke slam to Jungle Boy and laid him out, and as that happened, Hook came out to the ring, and the Firm, which are Stokely Hathaway, Lee Moriarty, and W. Morrissey, retreated, and Hook offered his hand to Jungle Boy, and Hook helped Jungle Boy up, and so Jungle Boy and Hook stood tall, while the Firm, which are Stokely Hathaway, Lee Moriarty, and W. Morrissey, were staring down Jungle Boy and Hook and everything. That was cool. That was after the match, by the way. Match 3, it was the House of Black, which are Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews, versus the Factory, which are QT Marshall, Cole Carter, and Lee Johnson, That was a squash match, but the ending to it, the House of Black went over cause Malachi Black pinned QT. Match 3, it was the House of Black, which are Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews, versus the Factory, which are... Wait a minute. Match 3, it was the House of Black, which are Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews, versus the Factory, which are QT Marshall, Cole Carter, and Lee Johnson. That was a squash match, but the ending to it, the House of Black went over cause Malachi Black pinned QT Marshall with the Black Mass. Now, before the match started, the Factory, which are QT Marshall, Aaron Solo, Nick Comoroto, Lee Johnson, and Cole Carter, were already out in the ring. Well, the House of Black, which are Malachi Black, Brody King, Buddy Matthews, and Julia Hart, came out for their entrance into the ring and everything, and Nick Comoroto was showing off and trying to intimidate Julia Hart, but Julia Hart blew mist in Nick Comoroto's face and laid him out, and then Brody King and Buddy Matthews attacked Aaron Solo, Cole Carter, and Lee Johnson and laid him out and everything, and even attacked Nick Comoroto and laid him out and everything, as Malachi Black and QT Marshall were looking on and everything before the match started and everything. That was cool. That was before the match, by the way. Match 4, it was Action Andretti versus Chris Jericho. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Action Andretti went over with the running shooting star press. Match 5, it was Ruby Soho versus Ty Mello. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Ruby Soho went over with the Destination Unknown. Now, before the match, Ty Mello attacked Ruby Soho and beat the shit out of her before the match started and everything. Well, Ruby Soho got offense back and everything before the match started and everything as well. That was cool. That was before the match, by the way. And after the match, as Ruby Soho was celebrating her victory, Anna Jay came out to the ring and beat the shit out of Ruby Soho, and then Anna Jay executed the Widow's Peak to Ruby Soho and laid her out, and so the Jericho Appreciation Society, which are Anna Jay and Ty Mello, stood tall while Ruby Soho was laid out and everything. That was cool. That was after the match, by the way. And yeah, that was match 5, by the way. And match 6, which was the main event, it was MJF versus Ricky Starks for the AEW title and the Dynamite Diamond Ring. That was a great match, but the ending to it, MJF went over and retained the AEW title and the Dynamite Diamond Ring with a small package. Now, after the match, as MJF was heading backstage, Bryan Danielson came out and chased MJF off, and MJF retreated through the crowd and ran away and everything, and then Bryan Danielson went back into the ring and helped Ricky Starks up, and Bryan Danielson raised the hand of Ricky Starks and everything. That was cool. Which was cool. That was after the match, by the way, and that was match 6 in the main event, by the way. Now, besides the matches, Alex Marvez interviewed MJF Well, Alex Marvez brought up about MJF defending the AEW title and the Dynamite Diamond Ring against Ricky Starks and everything, and MJF was talking about how he's going to retain the AEW title and keep the Dynamite Diamond Ring, and talked about how Ricky Starks had potential to be a great professional wrestler and everything, and MJF was talking about how Ricky Starks whines, bitches, and complains about everything, and talked about how people relate to him because they're just like him and they suck and everything, and MJF was talking about how he was going to kick Ricky Starks' ass and everything, and talked about how Ricky Starks was how Ricky Starks was talking about how MJF himself had it easy, and MJF was talking about how he did have it easy because he grew up rich, he grew up attractive, grew up funny, grew up witty, grew up pretty, etc. And MJF was talking about how Ricky Starks was nothing but a whiner and complainer, and talking about how he was going to take him out and beat his ass and retain the AEW title and the Dynamite Diamond Ring and everything. That was cool. Excuse me. Billy Gunn. That was cool. The whole thing with Alex Marvez interviewing MJF was cool. Billy Gunn and the Acclaimed, which are Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, came out. Well, Max Caster was getting ready to do a rap, but before they got the chance, Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, and Satnam Singh came out. Well, Satnam Singh attacked Billy Gunn while Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt attacked the Acclaimed, which are Max Caster and Anthony Bowens. Well, Jay Lethal was beating the shit out of Anthony Bowens while Sanjay Dutt was beating the shit out of Max Caster. Well, Max Caster got offense on Sanjay Dutt back, but Jay Lethal attacked Max Caster from behind and beat the shit out of him. And, well, Satnam Singh ended up laying out Billy Gunn, and Jay Lethal ended up laying out Anthony Bowens. So that left Max Caster into the ring, and as Max Caster was getting his ass kicked, Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt held Max Caster down, and Jeff Jarrett got his guitar and hit Max Caster over the head with it. Then Jeff Jarrett got on the microphone and said, "Yo, listen, bitch. Scissor me this, slap nut." Well, Jeff Jarrett got on the microphone and said, "Yo, listen, bitch. You got our attention now. So scissor me this, slap nut." And then Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, and Satnam Singh stood tall, while Billy Gunn and the Acclaimed, which are Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, were laid out and everything. That was cool. Tony Schiavone interviewed the Jericho Appreciation Society, which are Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, Sammy Guevara, Daniel Garcia, Matt Menard, and Angelo Parker. Well, Tony Schiavone brought up about Chris Jericho losing the Ring of Honor World Title at Ring of Honor Final Battle. Ring of Honor's pay-per-view event Final Battle and everything, and Chris Jericho talked about how the giant swing was a barbaric move and how it should be banned and everything, and Chris Jericho talked about how he's going to get back the Ring of Honor World Title and how he's the Ocho and everything, and talked about how he's going to take out and beat a jobber senseless and everything tonight to warm up for the Ring of Honor World Title and everything. And then Tony Schiavone even brought up to Daniel Garcia about losing the Ring of Honor World Title to Wheeler Yuta at Ring of Honor's pay-per-view event Final Battle and everything. And Daniel Garcia was getting ready to talk, but Chris Jericho was saying, whoa, Danny boy. before you start talking, you lost to Wheeler Yuta at Final Battle. You lost that Ring of Honor Pure title, which you should not have done. So from here on out, you're going to be the accountability buddy to Sammy Guevara. Then Sammy Guevara got on the microphone and said, Jon Moxley, you say that this war between the Blackpool Combat Club and the Jericho Appreciation Society is over. Well, it's not over for me. Because Friday night on AEW Rampage, I want to fight you. And I'm going to beat your ass come Friday night on AEW Rampage. And not only am I going to beat your ass, Jon Moxley, but my wife, Ty Mello, is going to beat Ruby Soho's ass tonight on AEW Dynamite Winter is Coming and everything. And then Jake Hager yelled, I like this hat and everything. That was cool. The Blackpool Combat Club, which are Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta, cut a promo. Well, Jon Moxley was talking about how at Ring of Honor's pay-per-view event Final Battle, Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta done what the Blackpool Combat Club said they were going to do, and that was take out the Jericho Appreciation Society and win back the Ring of Honor World title and the Ring of Honor Pure title, and they done just that. And Jon Moxley was talking about how he choked out Konosuke Takeshita on AEW Rampage last Friday and everything, and Claudio Castagnoli was talking about how 2023 they were coming after the Blackpool Combat Club was coming after everybody, whether it's on Dynamite, Rampage, Dark, Elevation, he don't care. The Blackpool Combat Club's coming after everybody. And Wheeler Yuta was talking about how how the Blackpool Combat Club has taught him how that if you want something, you got to fight for it and everything. And then Jon Moxley was talking about how he was wanting to fight Hangman Page and everything as well. That was cool. Swerve Strickland cut a promo talking about how he thought Keith Lee was a friend and a brother to him, but turned out he was wrong because Keith Lee turned his back on him several times and everything, and talked about how he was going to get his revenge on Keith Lee and kick his ass and everything. That was cool. AEW aired a vignette of the build-up of the match between Jamie Hayter versus Hikaru Shida for the AEW Women's title. That was cool. Renee Paquette interviewed Britt Baker and Rebel. Well, Renee Paquette brought up to Britt Baker about Jamie Hayter defending the AEW Women's title next week on AEW Dynamite special event Holiday Bash against Hikaru Shida and everything. And Britt Baker was talking about how Hikaru Shida thinks that she's going to beat Jamie Hayter for the AEW Women's title, but she's not and everything. And Britt Baker continued to talk more shit, and then Sky Blue appeared, and Britt Baker said, "Can I help you?" Sky Blue said, "Yes, as a matter of fact, you can, Britt. Because, Britt, I've been hearing you talk from a mile away, and so can the whole AEW roster. So, since you're so good at talking, why don't you put your money where your mouth is? And since I'm not doing anything Friday night on AEW Rampage, I believe you're not either. So how about Friday night, AEW Rampage, me, Sky Blue, versus you, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. See you then." So Sky Blue left, and then Britt Baker accepted the challenge and everything. That was cool. Ricky Starks cut a promo talking about how he's in his home state of Texas and everything, and talked about how he's had a support system over the years and everything, and how MJF is not used to a support system because he's never had has never had a support system and everything. And Ricky Starks talked about how he was going to beat MJF's ass and not only take the Dynamite Diamond ring from him, but also become the AEW champion and everything. That was cool. FTR, which are Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, cut a promo talking about how the Guns, which are Colton and Austin Gunn, have attacked them match after match, screwed them out of every match they've been in, and attacked them after every match and everything. And FTR were pretty much talking about how they were going to take out the Guns and how they were going to do it next week on AEW Dynamite's special event Holiday Bash and everything. That was cool. Chris Jericho was backstage throwing a temper tantrum over his loss against Action Andretti and everything. That was cool. MJF and Ricky Starks were shown training for their match for the AEW title and Dynamite Diamond ring and everything. Well, Ricky Starks was shown lifting weights, and MJF was shown getting a body massage and texting on his phone and everything. That was cool. Let me see. Excuse me for a second. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Got distracted for a minute. Alex Marvez interviewed Hangman Page, and Alex Marvez was asking Hangman Page about an update on his concussion and if he's medically cleared and everything. And Hangman Page was talking about how he wasn't medically cleared yet and everything, and talked about how when he suffered that concussion against Jon Moxley at in October and everything, and talked about how he got how he don't remember a whole lot and everything, and talked about how he was going to get his revenge on Jon Moxley and everything. That was cool. And Dustin Rhodes and the Best Friends, which are Trent Beretta, Chuck Taylor, Orange Cassidy, and Dan Housen, cut a promo, and Dustin Rhodes was talking about how him and the Best Friends want to fight the Butcher, the Blade, Kip Sabian, and Trent Seven in a match on AEW Rampage in his hometown of in his home state of Texas and everything. And Dustin Rhodes talked about how him and the Best Friends are going to beat the shit out of the Butcher, the Blade, Kip Sabian, and Trent Seven and everything. That was cool. Now, besides all that, Tony Schiavone, Taz, and Excalibur done commentary throughout the whole show. They done awesome as usual. The referees for the event were Rick Knox, Paul Turner, Bryce Remsburg, Stephon Smith, and Aubrey Edwards. Okay, Rick Knox refereed the match between the Death Triangle versus the Elite in match 4 of the Best of 7 series. Aubrey Edwards refereed the match between Jungle Boy versus Brian Cage. Stephon Smith refereed the match between the House of Black versus the Factory. Aubrey Edwards refereed the match between Action Andretti versus Chris Jericho. Bryce Remsburg refereed the match between Ruby Soho versus Ty Mello. And Paul Turner refereed the match between MJF versus Ricky Starks for the AEW title and the Dynamite Diamond Ring. All the referees done awesome as usual. Now, the match card that's been announced for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite special event, Holiday Bash, Wednesday night, it's going to be Jamie Hayter versus Hikaru Shida for the AEW Women's title. The Death Triangle, which are Pac, Rey Fenix, and Penta El Zero Miedo versus the Elite, which are Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson in match 5 of the Best of 7 series in a no disqualification match. And FTR, which are Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler versus the Guns, which are Colton and Austin Gunn. So the match card for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite special event Holiday Bash Wednesday night looks like it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see it, and I'm looking forward to it. But anyway, I just wanted to come on here for a while and give them a review for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite's special event Winter is Coming from 3 nights ago, which was December 14th, 2022. Like I said, it was awesome from start to finish. And with that being said, my name is Austin Honecker, and I will catch your fucking ass down the goddamn road. Peace out.